Chris Jericho has been away from WWE for years, building AEW from the ground up as one of the founding pillars of that company. He was their first world champion, their first mainstream star, the guy Tony Khan leaned on to give AEW instant credibility. He gave AEW legitimacy in its earliest days. He worked with Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, MJF, Eddie Kingston, Sammy Guevara, and countless others to help elevate them to new levels. He was everywhere, from leading the Inner Circle to jumping into bloody war games to putting his stamp on the Ring of Honor brand. He was essential to AEW's rise. But here's the twist. Jericho's AEW contract is running out. He's been off television for months. He's touring with Fozzy, and he's dropping little breadcrumbs online that have fans buzzing about one thing: a WWE comeback. And let's be honest, if Jericho shows up in WWE again, it would be an earth-shattering moment. Imagine it. The countdown hits, the lights go out, the crowd starts screaming, and then you hear "break the walls down." The roof would blow off the building. We're talking one of the loudest pops you'll ever hear. Social media would crash. Wrestling Twitter would be a disaster zone for days. Everyone from casual fans to die-hard AEW stans would be weighing in. It wouldn't just be a return, it would be a spectacle, a reminder of how iconic Jericho has been in this business. But that's not the only thing you need to know, because while the hype is insane, there are also major risks, both for Jericho and for the companies involved. For AEW, losing Jericho is more than just losing a veteran. This is the guy who helped launch the company into the mainstream. Losing him would add to a worrying pattern. They already lost Cody Rhodes. They already lost CM Punk. They've seen Jade Cargill walk. They've seen other names head to WWE. If Jericho leaves, it's another headline that screams AEW stars are choosing WWE. That hurts the image of AEW as the alternative. It gives critics ammo to say WWE is the final destination, not AEW. That's a big deal. For WWE though, the upside is enormous. Jericho is one of those names that transcends eras. He's wrestled legends. He's reinvented himself a dozen times, and he's still relevant decades later. Fans remember Y2J, The List, the Festival of Friendship, the countless reinventions. Bringing him back isn't just nostalgia, it's star power, credibility, and one more way WWE can remind fans that when it comes to legends, they always come home. And under Triple H's creative leadership, you can bet they'd use him smartly. We're not talking about putting him in 20-minute matches every week. We're talking about special attraction feuds, dream matches with fresh talent, or maybe even positioning him as a mentor figure for the next generation. Chris Jericho has been one of the most influential figures in professional wrestling for over 3 decades, and his current status within All Elite Wrestling, alongside rumors of a potential return to WWE, has created significant discussion across the industry. His AEW contract is reportedly set to expire by the end of 2025, which has opened the door for speculation about his future and raised questions about what impact his decision might have on both AEW and WWE. Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer has reported that there is considerable talk within WWE about Jericho possibly making a surprise appearance at the 2026 Royal Rumble, which could mark a major storyline moment in professional wrestling. This possibility gains weight considering Jericho's absence from AEW programming since April, when he lost the Ring of Honor World Championship to Bandito at the AEW Dynasty event. Following that loss, Jericho embarked on another tour with his band Fozzy and did not immediately return to AEW television. His decision to remain off-screen, coupled with him liking an Instagram post hinting at a WWE return, has intensified speculation. These moves have fueled rumors about his future, and they align with Jericho's long-established ability to manipulate fan intrigue to keep his name relevant in the conversation. His silence on the matter during his Talk is Jericho podcast also adds to the uncertainty, as Jericho has often used mystery and anticipation as tools throughout his career. Jericho's presence in AEW since its formation in 2019 has been essential to the company's rise as a viable competitor to WWE. He was the inaugural AEW World Champion, defeating Kenny Omega and Hangman Page in the early stages of the company to establish credibility for the promotion. As the first face of the brand, his star power and mainstream recognition gave AEW legitimacy in its early years. Beyond being a top-level performer, Jericho contributed through his leadership, experience, and willingness to mentor younger talent in the locker room. AEW performers and Tony Khan have acknowledged the value he brings behind the scenes, with many wrestlers benefiting from his decades of experience. Over his AEW tenure, Jericho has been central to many key moments. He led the Inner Circle faction, participated in high-profile matches such as Stadium Stampede, Blood and Guts, and Anarchy in the Arena, and engaged in significant rivalries with talents like MJF, Eddie Kingston, and Sammy Guevara. His willingness to elevate new stars and put others over has been a critical factor factor in helping AEW develop its identity and roster depth. His ability to make new stars appear credible by working with them was a major part of AEW's early growth strategy, and his matches often provided some of the most memorable moments in the company's history. Despite his contributions, there have been criticisms of Jericho's recent work, particularly his Learning Tree storyline, which some fans felt lacked the same impact as his earlier work. His age, now 54, has also influenced perceptions of his in-ring performance. While his star power remains intact, AEW has sometimes presented him as if he is still in his prime, which some argue has not resonated with audiences. Observers have suggested that his role might be better suited as a special attraction rather than a weekly mainstay, similar to how AEW used Sting as a part-time but impactful figure. Limiting his in-ring appearances and focusing on big moments could maximize his value without overexposing him. Tony Khan has publicly stated his desire to keep Jericho in AEW, expressing high regard for his contributions and importance to both AEW and Ring of Honor. However, he has not directly addressed Jericho's contract status, keeping speculation alive. The possibility of WWE offering Jericho a role during the later stages of his career also remains strong. In WWE, where Jericho was a major star from 1999 to 2019, he achieved multiple world championship reigns, iconic storylines, and legendary matches. A return would allow him to potentially conclude his career where he first became a global name. On the other hand, WWE stands to gain significantly from Jericho's return. Under Triple H's creative direction, WWE has been more strategic in how it uses returning stars, carefully balancing nostalgia with fresh storylines. Jericho's presence would immediately generate attention, create buzz across media outlets, and offer WWE the opportunity to stage another major return moment that energizes fans. Given his history with WWE and his established popularity, his return would not require extensive build-up to feel meaningful. The financial aspect of Jericho's decision is also a factor. Meltzer has suggested that Tony Khan could offer Jericho more money to prevent him from returning to WWE. AEW has the resources to compete financially, and Khan has made clear that he values Jericho highly. However, money may not be the only motivator for Jericho at this point in his career. Legacy, visibility, and the opportunity to conclude his career on the biggest stage may weigh more heavily in his decision. Jericho's legacy is already secure as a first ballot Hall of Famer, but how he concludes his career could influence how he is remembered in its final chapter. Ending his career in WWE, the company where he reached his greatest fame, might feel fitting to both him and his fans. For WWE, securing Jericho would also reinforce a narrative that former AEW stars find greater recognition and impact upon returning to WWE, further strengthening its dominance in the wrestling world. In contrast, AEW faces the challenge of maintaining momentum while ensuring its younger stars continue to rise. Even without Jericho, AEW's roster has demonstrated the ability to produce compelling content and successful shows, but Jericho's unique combination of mainstream recognition, leadership, and willingness to help build new stars is not easily replaced. His departure could create a vacuum that AEW would need to address strategically, possibly by elevating existing stars more aggressively or securing new mainstream names. Jericho's career has always been marked by adaptability and reinvention, from his WCW beginnings to his multiple WWE runs and his pivotal role in AEW's rise. He has consistently evolved to remain relevant in changing wrestling landscapes. This ability to reinvent himself is part of what makes the speculation around his future so intriguing. Whether he remains with AEW in a reduced role, returns to WWE for a final run, or transitions into a non-wrestling role, his choices will shape not only his legacy, but also influence the dynamics of the wrestling industry. Now let's speculate a little. Picture Jericho returning at the Royal Rumble. The countdown clock hits 10, 9, 8. The whole crowd is buzzing, and then boom. Break the Walls Down hits, and Jericho walks out. The place would explode. That's not just a pop, that's the kind of return that makes highlight reels for decades. And if WWE books it right, Jericho could slide straight into a program that helps elevate someone new. Maybe a guy like Carmelo Hayes, maybe a feud with Seth Rollins, maybe a shocking confrontation with Cody Rhodes. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes it so exciting. Now, critics are already pointing out the obvious. Jericho is older, he's not the same guy he was at 30, and his last AEW storyline with the Learning Tree wasn't exactly his hottest run. Some fans felt it dragged, some thought it was mid-card material, and others just said straight up that Jericho was overexposed. But here's the catch: WWE knows how to handle legends.